Taking a look now at Hume Netball. We've got our Hume Netball representative here, Carla Fletcher, and she's going to tell us everything we need to know. Thanks for joining me, Carla. How are you going?
I'm well, thanks, Dan, and how are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Good to be talking to you, and we'll get straight into the action that took place in round 12, which kicked off with Osborne getting a nice win over How Long 62-38.
Yeah, look, I think Osborne were pretty excited to come away with such a good win against How Long. You know, they're up there with, they're one of the top three competitors this season, and it was a pretty high-intensity game. How Long were only down by 2 goals at quarter time, but look, I think some strong play from Osborne in the second and third quarters to set them up for the game. Their shooters really led the way with some great shooting in the circle, and their players' player went to Abby O'Connell in defence, and the coaches' award went to Georgia O'Connell, who had a fantastic game in centre. Best players for How Long were Samway and Abby Lishke, both defenders. So, yeah, really interesting game on last weekend.
So Osborne doing enough to stay undefeated on top of the ladder. And to our next game, it was Colcan over Henty, 43-28.
Yeah, look, I think it was a great start to the game. The score was 8-all at the end of the first quarter, but Colcan settled after the break and they gradually increased their lead each quarter with Kayla Wright in wing attack, Emily Pinnock in wing defence, and once again Olivia Brunner having great games and all making an impact. For Colcan, Henty's most valuable player went to Rachel Turlick, who had a great game in defence, and the coach's award went to Kaylee Wiscombe, who stepped up in the goal shooter position for the game. So, so well done to Colcan.
So it'll have to be another week for Henty, still searching for their first win. We'll move on to our next game, where it was Gindera getting a convincing win over Holbrook, 50-24.
Yeah, look, this was also it was a top 6 game. Gindera sitting second and Holbrook were fifth. Great start to the game with Gindera only up by 1 at the end of the first quarter. I think Gindera were pretty happy to have some of their players return to their side and were able to make some rotations each quarter, and they just finished with a really strong last half. Best players for Gindera were Tamika Woolahan in defence, Chelsea Harper in wing defence, and Sam Creasy took home the players' player with Claire Marriott and Jessica Rowe, all award winners for Holbrook.
My apologies there. Gindera, not Gindera. So if you've heard me on air saying the word Gindera in the past, it won't happen again. So thank you for correcting me on that one. And we'll move to our next game, where it was Lockhart in a close one over the Murray Magpies, 33-28.
Yeah, look, Lockhart knew they were in for a really tough contest last weekend, and they were really hungry for a win. And they turned the scoreboard from their first round meeting against the Magpies. Look, they've been working on some strategies of training, and it really paid off on the weekend with a four full quarter effort from Lockhart. Maddie Robinson played a really great game in goal attack with defenders Hannah Keeley and Tegan Hanna strong in defence. Lisa Holly in goal shooter and Tori Scott in wing attack both played well for the Magpies, and they won their awards for the weekend.
And our next one was a nice close game as well. The Billabong Crows over the BB Saints, 43-37.
Yeah, BB Saints started really well, and it was a really high-pressure game to start off with. I think the Crows just finally found their feet in the second half with some persistent defensive pressure and accurate shooting. Best on for the Crows went to Brooke Davies in goal defence, and also the incentive award went to Millie Ferguson, who played centre, and she had some great passages of play and really stood up when the team needed it. Look, it's a fantastic performance from the Saints girls from their round 1 meeting against the Crows, and their awards went to Michaela Chathoun, Rachel Kazitsky and Sophie O'Connor.
And so our last game for the round was CDHBU getting yet another pretty close win by 8 goals over the RWW Giants, 45-37.
Yeah, look, it was a pretty even battle out at Kareen with both sides winning, each half of the game. But I think Kareen's ability to capitalise early in the game, they built themselves up a bit of a lead, and the Giants just couldn't bring it back. Look, it was a great battle between CDHBU's goal defence Rebecca Cuser and Ramble Walla Giants goal attack Tamara Trethown across the whole 4 quarters, and Ebony Williams also had a solid game for the Giants in wing defence. CDHBU best players were Courtney McDonald, Shelby Richardson and Rosie Dye.
All right, so that is a wrap of round 12, and if we look ahead to round 13, it's kicking off with a top 4 clash. The Billabong Crows will look to be the first team to knock off Osborne when they meet at Osborne Recreational Ground. How do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, look, I think this will be it looks like the match of the round. Like on Osborne's performance last weekend, look, I think they will come away. They're going to be really hungry in this last part of the season, and I think they'll take the 4 points from the Crows on the weekend.
And the BB Saints will be taking on Jindera. BB Saints will have their work cut out for them in this one. They're sitting 8th on the ladder. Jindera sitting up in 2nd with just 1 loss for the season.
Yeah, now I think Jindera's got some of their players back. I think they'll be focusing on what they need to do leading up to finals, but I wouldn't underestimate the BB Saints girls. If they have a really good start and they're able to play consistently for the 4th quarters, they might just give Jindera a bit of a run, but I think Jindera will be too strong.
And Colcan taking on CDHBU. This one's shaping up at a good game, which is taking place at Colcan. Colcan sitting 5th on the ladder, CDHBU 7th, separated by just a win, a draw, and not much percentage.
Yeah, look, I think this will be another great game to watch on the weekend. But, I think Colcan, they're all starting to get it together. CDHBU, they've been working hard and they've managed to get some wins that, that otherwise they mightn't have got. So I think it'll be a really good game. But Colcan, I think, will, take the 4 points.
And how long will be travelling to Holbrook on Saturday? So how long looking to stay in touch with the top 2? Do you think they'll win that one?
Yeah, look, I think How Long will bounce back after their loss last week to Osborne. They know they'll be working on what they need to do, and I think they'll be keen for a pretty big win on the weekend. So I'm going How Long.
And Henty will be travelling to Lockhart. It's a bottom 2 clash here, so could be a good chance for Henty to get their first win of the season. How do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, look, it's a pretty competitive game. Lockhart and Henty, it's always, everyone's keen for a win, but, if Lockhart can keep up their performance from last weekend, they should get away with the 4 points, but, you just never know. Henty will be keen. It'll be their opportunity to get a win on Saturday.
And rounding out the action in round 13, it's not the bottom 2, but it's right next to it. It's 9th versus 10th in the Murray Magpies versus the RWW Giants. Yeah, look, this will be another close game as well, even though, it's not the top of the ladder, it's towards the bottom. But, Magpies had a pretty steady game on the weekend, and I think they'll be looking to take the 4 points against Ramble Walla Giants on the weekend. So I'll go for Magpies on that one. All right, so that's a wrap-up of all of last weekend's scores and all of the action coming this weekend. Thanks very much for your time, Carla. Enjoy the netball this weekend, and Ellis will be with you again next week. Okay, thanks, Dan.